Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's start in the mansion. The central relationship here is between Karan and Ceylan, and it is just built on a double deception.
A double deception.
Yeah. Ceylan thinks the marriage is purely transactional, a tool for her own suffering, but Karan's true motive is buried way deeper than that.
Absolutely. So on the surface, he's presenting this cold front. He seems convinced she was involved in his brother Salah's murder, but the sources show his hand is being forced. He's secretly running his own investigation into Salah's death, and he's totally convinced Ceylan is innocent.
So he has to maintain this facade of distance and control.
Exactly, to find the real killer without tipping them off. In his mind, it's a necessary evil.
And that necessity, that evil, leads to the most devastating emotional fallout for Ceylan. She had this glimmer of hope.
After last night in the forest.
Right. After that night together, she interpreted their closeness as a genuine return to the old days, like a real resurgence of their old affection.
It was the ultimate emotional setup. She felt safe, she felt loved, and then...
It's just violently ripped away.
When she overhears the truth, she hears Karan confirming to his mother, 𝐀𝐁𝐻𝐿, who was obsessed with getting a grandchild, that his devotion was completely temporary.
This is really the core of the lie. He admits his recent actions were just an act, all designed to keep Ceylan in the mansion, stop her from escaping, so she can fulfill her duty.
Her duty to provide an heir.
And he tells 𝐀𝐁𝐻𝐿 that once that duty is done, he'll just coldly push her away.
Yeah.
So this isn't just about finding a murderer. It's about using intimacy and love as a cage.
That cruelty is breathtaking. And then, to make this emotional pressure cooker even worse, you have the diary conflict.
Ah, the diary.
Ceylan keeps this incredibly private diary where she records all the injustices, the schemes, and critically what she calls the big lie she shares with Karan.
And this diary is a live wire. Everyone wants it, and for different, terrifying reasons. First, you've got Seema, the other wife. She's frantic. She thinks the diary has proof of her trying to cause Ceylan to miscarry. She's operating purely out of self-preservation, and she's ready to get violent to retrieve it.
Then there's 𝐀𝐁𝐻𝐿, the Iron Matriarch.
She doesn't care about Seema's plots.
Not at all. She tries to grab the diary because she's still convinced it has a confession about Salah's murder. For her, it's the final key to getting rid of Ceylan for good.
But this is where we see the first major crack in Karen's facade. Just as 𝐀𝐁𝐻𝐿 gets her hands on the diary and starts reading the last page.
The most vulnerable page, probably.
Exactly. Karan rushes in and seizes it.
It's an incredible moment. He's risking his entire investigation by standing up to his own mother. And he doesn't read it. He promises Ceylan he won't, out of respect for her privacy.
This action is a huge turning point. It directly contradicts his whole calculated plan. His duty is to find the killer and please his mother. But his action is to protect Ceylan's deepest emotional world.
He's choosing her dignity over his investigation.
Which tells you everything.
Yeah.
It signals that his feelings for her are rapidly, taking over his original agenda. He might be acting like a manipulator, but privately, he's choosing devotion.
He's a walking contradiction. He uses her for an heir as a control mechanism, yet he risks everything to protect the written record of his own cruelty. So how long can that facade possibly last?
Not long at all, I think.
Okay, so shifting from the mansion's marriage of necessity, let's go to the cafe, where the necessity of protection forces an equally devastating romantic lie. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Right, with the love triangle involving Ferit, Layla, and Ceylan.
Ferit and Layla are the genuine article here. They're celebrating their first-month anniversary, real committed love.
And because they can't be public, Ferit gives Layla this symbolic ring. It's not the real engagement ring, but it's a token, a physical promise that their feelings will hold up no matter what.
But those external pressures are just so intense, and they show up in the form of Ceylan's elaborate and painful sacrifice.
He's pretending to date Ferit.
All to appease his demanding, sick aunt, Karaman. And the stakes couldn't be higher. Karaman is threatened to stop her medical treatment if Ferit isn't publicly with Ceylan.
So Ceylan's deception is pure, selfless duty. It's her duty overriding her own happiness. And the whole thing just explodes when Karaman arrives at the cafe.
Of course she does.
She completely disrupts Ferit and Layla's secret celebration and spots the symbolic ring Ferit just gave Layla.
And here we have the classic misfire. Karaman naturally assumes the ring is for Ceylan.
It's exactly what she wants to see.
In this moment of, pure controlling joy, she forces Ferit to put the ring on Sully's finger right then and there. And crucially, she insists on taking photos. Maximum public exposure.
And Ceylan is just trapped. She is visibly horrified, but she knows the alternative is Karaman abandoning her treatment. So she plays along, she accepts the hug, the humiliating photos, all for duty.
It's a heavy price.
It is. And you have to wonder, is this sacrifice truly the ethical choice? Or is she just enabling Karaman's manipulation?
And the consequences for Layla are immediate. She hears about it, and then, this is the real gut punch, she's shown the photos, the physical proof of this forced engagement.
The irony is just crushing. Layla had just gotten over her jealousy and apologized to Ceylan.
Right.
Now, even though she knows the situation does a lie, seeing the proof, the ring on the finger, the smiles for the camera, it just plunges her right back into doubt and pain. The need to protect Karaman's life has directly destroyed Layla's emotional stability.
It just proves that sometimes protective lies carry way too high a cost.
For sure.
So before we get back to the mansion, let's quickly touch on the third conspiracy. This one involves Mohammed, 𝐊𝐿𝐷, and Mustafa, and it shifts the focus from emotional betrayal to, well, pure financial fraud.
But the reliance on elaborate lies is exactly the same. This is a classic gold digger's dilemma rooted in greed.
𝐊𝐿𝐷 and Mustafa suspect Muhammad is faking amnesia.
Right, to hide a huge stash of stolen gold that belonged to Uncle Khalil. And what's fascinating here is the sheer effort of his deception, pretending to have lost his memory for a simple financial goal.
It's a huge risk. I mean, maintaining fake amnesia, especially when people already distrust you, takes incredible dedication to the lie. You have to be consistent, not react to things.
And you have to hide the moments you're planning your next move.
And that's where he messes up.
That's where they get their proof.
Yeah.
𝐊𝐿𝐷 is smart. She secretly films him on her phone when he thinks he's alone. And the footage catches him meticulously drawing a map.
A map to the buried gold.
Undeniable. It confirms everything. He's not amnesiac, he's a calculator. He's just waiting for the perfect moment to go get his loot.
So his deception is all about desire for wealth, not duty or protection.
Which means 𝐊𝐿𝐷 and Mustafa's response has to be just as calculated. Instead of confronting him, which would just make him scramble for the gold,
He'd suddenly claim his memory was back.
Exactly. So they agree on a counter-deception.
They decide to play along.
Yep. They'll maintain the charade, pretend they believe he's still an amnesiac. Because by keeping him comfortable in his lie, they can watch him and, ideally, find the gold themselves before he does.
So now you have three people actively lying to each other, and each one thinks they're the only one who knows the truth. It's a fragile, fragile game.
Absolutely. It just shows how deception breeds more necessary deception in this world.
Okay, let's go back to the mansion, where the tension between Karan and 𝐊𝐿𝐷 finally reaches its breaking point.
The pressure on 𝐊𝐿𝐷, plus the cold from being in the forest, leads to her getting seriously ill with a high fever.
And this medical crisis acts as the ultimate truth serum. It shatters Karan's entire facade.
This is the moment where duty just completely breaks down in the face of desire. The professional, calculating Karan vanishes. The sources say he cancels a key business dinner.
A really critical meeting.
He dismisses all his work commitments. His only focus becomes 𝐊𝐿𝐷.
He's not concerned with the killer anymore, or Kadira, or his business. His priorities have totally flipped. He tells the maid, 𝐊𝐷, to focus only on 𝐊𝐿𝐷's care.
And his devotion is total. He spends the entire night awake, just watching over her. This is not the behavior of a man executing some cold plan for an heir.
No, this is a man terrified of losing the person he loves.
It proves that the big lie, his cruel charade, is totally unsustainable when faced with raw fear. That intense protective care just obliterates the persona he'd been maintaining.
When 𝐊𝐿𝐷 finally wakes up, she's astonished he stayed. She spent all this time believing his every action was manipulation.
And now he's there, stripped of all artifice. They share this tender, vulnerable moment.
And Karan uses this moment to finally explain one piece of his confusing behavior. He tells her he took the diary not to read it, but to protect her privacy from Kadira.
And that single act of respect, confirmed in the intimacy of her illness, it provides the trust she needed.
And this devotion, this physical proof that his fear for her life is more important than anything else, it just unlocks the truth for 𝐊𝐿𝐷. She confesses.
Karan, I love you very much.
And here's the payoff. The moment this whole deep dive has been building towards. For the first time, not as part of a plan, but in a moment of pure sincerity, Karan responds.
And I love you too very much. I adore you. This climax confirms that his true feelings, his desire, have not only taken over his cold-hearted agenda, but have also created a foundation of mutual confession.
Even if it rests on a catastrophic lie.
We have journeyed through a world where these external pressures, the need for an heir, a murder investigation, an aunt's medical treatment, stolen gold, have forced every single key character into a state of deception.
Yeah, these relationships were defined by duty and necessity. So what does this all mean? We've seen characters like Ferret and Karan choose these elaborate, devastating lies under the guise of protection. Karan uses cruelty to protect 𝐊𝐔𝐌𝐀 from a killer. Ferret uses a fake engagement to protect Karaman's health. Is that protection born from deceit ever really worth the emotional cost?
I mean, that's the ultimate tension here, isn't it? Duty versus desire. The original deceptions were calculated, rooted in cold necessity. But when true, deep affection breaks through, like when Karan feared for 𝐊𝐔𝐌𝐻's health, can that original deception ever truly be undone?
Can love thrive when its roots are so twisted in lies?
That's the lingering question we're left with. We saw the fever break Karan's facade, leading to this true, confessed love. But can a love forged in such intense crisis, built on the foundation of such a profound, big lie, survive the inevitable reckoning?
Or is that love forever tainted by the impossible conditions that brought it into existence? Something to think about as you watch these tangled plots continue to unravel.